Hello everyone, I'm Diana, and today I want to share with you my life story, and I hope if my story inspires at least one girl in the world, it's gonna be a big change already for the world. So my story starts with my mom. When my mom was 22, she was a single parent of myself, no support, 90s, Russia, very small city, and she had to raise me. So she decided that she opens a business. She didn't want to start a career. Basically, there was no such thing in Russia as business in the 90s. And she came up with an idea that well functioned until the late 2000s. So she was raising me and doing the business. Did I have a chance to become not entrepreneur? I'm not sure, because now my mom currently is a business coach and the other rest of the family is a therapist. So here I stand, born and raised as an entrepreneur, but it was not always an easy path. So my mom decided to support my education with giving me a hands-on business experience, and she decided to stop being such a mom, how the moms are, supportive, nice, and everything. My mom was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a better dad for you. Here you go, you're 17, you started studying management. Here you go, I'm gonna be an investor in your project. I'm gonna talk to you as an investor. And she opened a store. I started doing everything. Hiring the staff, dealing with sanitary inspections, which in Russia it kind of works on bribery and everything. Dealing with conflicts and trying to sell stuff as well to the customers, because since my mom was an investor, I needed to show some profit, right? Because that's what she was asking me. And literally, I remember there was a joke sometimes in our family. I'm like, Mom, could you be a parent today, please, instead of being a business coach? And she would be like, which resources are you lacking today? So, after that, I graduated from the business school. And my mom used to tell me the stories when her clients, when she was 22 and she just opened her business, would come to her office and they would be like, oh, girl, can you bring us coffee, please? But can we speak to the manager meanwhile? And she was like, I'm the owner. So no one treated her seriously. She had to hire her own mom, my grandmother, to pretend that she is the CEO and deal with the clients. So when I went to the business school, I realized that I don't need a career path. I didn't have that option in my mind. So I started studying. And since I was 16, I had a passion for photography. I used to shoot some profile pictures for my friends, used to get some money to buy the chocolates. It was working fine. But when you go and study in the international business school where everyone is dreaming about being like IB or a consultancy or like have a heritage of their own business, I was like, what do I do with the camera now? I was like, for sure I'm not gonna be a photographer, I'm good in sales, so let me see. Let me graduate and then I'm gonna think about it. So honestly, by the end of the business school, I had no idea what I have to do with my life. Long story short, there was a classmate who was like, oh, my friends are opening some company in Dubai, do you wanna work in sales? I was like, hell yeah. Like coming back to Moscow or Dubai? Obviously, I'm a climate refugee, I swear. So I came to Dubai. I really didn't like the job, because for me it was all about the human relationship. I really value the good human relationships within the company. And after 3 months, I realized that I can do it better. The job was in a photography studio. So 3 months after, I spoke with my mom, again as an investor. I was like, Mama, you know what? Can you lend me money to open a company? So she gave me the money for the trade license. That's all the support I got. And after 1 year, she actually asked for the money back. At least no interest, So I opened the company and I started working and working and working more. Basically, the first year was like upside down, because I realized that it's not that you just get the trade license, you actually have to get the customers. And I took any job possible, biggest discounts ever. I tried to sell myself, like literally I remember coming to the meetings, and since I didn't have any portfolio of the local weddings to show, I was showing the bride the pictures from the Instagram, like some random shots of the hands of my friends, which I took with the rings to pretend that that was my client. And I used to lie to the clients that, like, you know, the album got destroyed in the previous meeting, someone spilled the coffee, that's why you have to believe I'm good in the photography, you have to buy me like this. Luckily, some of the brides, they really believed in me, and they bought. So we started getting more clients, we started becoming famous, but it was not an easy path. I was 22-year-old when I opened the company, single woman in Dubai. So if you know what I mean, like when you say I'm a Russian businesswoman and I live in Dubai, you all get what stands behind, what people start thinking in their mind. Until now, unfortunately, I get the issues with people thinking that if the lady is blessed from God with some beauty and some talent and some management skills, there should be something behind her, like some support, either from the family or from the marriage. So until now, I fight with this stereotypes, let's say. Once I got a very interesting story with the bank. When I just started Dialight, we decided that we need some money to invest in marketing, and I went to the bank. I was like, look, here I am, I have a company, it's working, I have staff, I'm paying the salary, could you lend me money to grow my business? What did the bank say? 4 criteria that I didn't meet. First of all, I was a woman, already a risk factor, you know. Second thing, I was too young to be an entrepreneur. And the next was like, you were self-employed, what are you asking? Like, we could give money to your staff, but not to you. I was like, well, you understand that if you give the money to my staff, I'm the one to pay the salary. They were like, no, it doesn't work. They have the salary, you don't. And plus, on top of this, I was not married. So the banks were not an option. Or another interesting story, just happened last year. When we were looking for the space for our Dialight headquarters, I found a beautiful warehouse. I already imagined how I'm gonna plan the walls, like layouts, everything. I get the checks, I didn't negotiate. The agent calls me the next day and he was like, I'm very sorry to say the deal is off. And I was like, what could have gone wrong? Like there was a better offer or something? I was like, how much is it? He was like, no, just the landlord, he feels like you're not suitable as a tenant. I was like, what could be wrong? Like my company is already 5 years old, I'm ready to pay upfront. He was like, no, he just said that you're a woman and maybe today you want to have a business and next day you don't want, and plus like, who's gonna pay for your bills? And I was standing there, having at that time already 8 employees under my visa who were getting the salaries on time, having the money from my company, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it better. I trust my intuition. So I made sure that within a week, I saw all the available warehouses in Arcos area. I got the space 4 times bigger, a bit more expensive, let's say, shell and core, and I spent 1 year in the construction. So I really want to have this talk to inspire women to rely on themselves, to rely on their instincts, on their intuition. We all have it. We all have this voice inside of our mind who can tell you can do better. And I know that I'm coming from the society where, unfortunately, still women are being judged on the fact of having a relationship. And I mean, how many times during these years that I was really focused on developing my company, I was so proud of my small success, like step by step. I would share it back home with my friends when I come back home to see them. And I would be like, you know, I achieved this, my photos were there, I shot this wedding. And they were like, it's great. How's your private life? And I was like, seriously, I mean, like, how valuable is the asset of having or not having a life partner? I mean, I don't say that you should have one option of having career. No, you can have it all, but the value of the woman, as for me, is not based on the absence or presence of the partner. So yeah, the society is changing and I wish it changes faster, but sometimes we have to be strong. And I don't say that all the people were misjudging me. There were some people who were really supportive, and I really appreciate men who can deal with a successful woman. Like really, that was the most precious asset that I had. People around me, guys who would tell you, you're doing so great. You're like inspiring me. And this is what I still love to hear. And also the women. Now the question is, why we women are so cruel to each other? Why we judge each other based on the looks, based on the talks, on the success. I feel like it's even happening more in between women in our society. Like, I've never heard a guy discussing for like 1 hour which nail polish is the friend wearing. And with the women, oh my god, you should have heard some chats in the bathrooms. So, I really hope that our society changes and we start thinking more about what we want inside. Like, filter your life. How many of you have like multiple tabs on Safari open with all kind of resources but not something educational? How many people you follow on Instagram who are really not really inspiring? And I'm not talking about like influencers, come on. Everyone on Instagram shows not the real life. They show you what you want to see. Don't compare yourself to these people. Filter out which information you're taking. Filter out which books you're reading, which friends you're talking to. Now I'm proud to say that around my friends, I'm proud of each and single one around me. My best friend just yesterday became the top seller in a huge developer company amongst the 200 employees, most of them are guys. And I couldn't be more proud of her. I don't envy her success. I've been with her from the beginning and I was so happy to see her growth. Same as she's always supporting me. She was there from the beginning with me. And never ever I was judged by her for being single or being career oriented. You know, every step has a time. So please, focus on your life, stop comparing yourself and filter the information that you're indulging. Thank you very much.